Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, returning subscribers, welcome to, I guess sort of a little beginning of the year talk thingy? Maybe a solo talkative, I don't know. First off, I'd like to go ahead and quell any worries that you may have. I'm not quitting YouTube, don't worry. And yes, I am going to be getting into Broken Cycles, and I'm not quitting that either, but please stick around until the end. I've got a lot of cool information about that to share with you guys. But for now, I do want to focus on the other YouTubers who are basically quitting. The internet's going to say that they're retiring. In reality, they're just, like, stepping away from bigger content. Tom Scott literally said that he's still doing podcasts. Like, they're not going away. Let's be real here. If you could actually just disappear from the internet and never come back, that would be incredibly impressive. Matpat says that he gets recognized like 5 times a day. The dude is never going to leave the internet sphere. But you know what? I really don't blame them. I think a lot of big creators are just scared to do it because, like, you know, Tom Scott doing it was kind of a massive wake-up call for a lot of these YouTubers because they just sort of realized that, like, oh, I wasn't aware that was something a person could do. Honestly, it is sad, obviously, knowing that Matpat isn't going to be the head of Game Theory anymore, knowing that a lot of these other bigger YouTubers that maybe you watch, maybe you don't, but obviously it's a bit sad seeing a lot of the big boys go. I do see a lot of the positives in it for them, though. I remember at the end of the day that, like, YouTubers are people. Oh, okay, well, actually, funny story. I remember at one point I used to, like, really hate the direction that Game Theory was going because I felt like they were getting way too corporatized. I guess nowadays I'm just kind of looking at it from Matt's perspective, and I'm just like, no, actually, you know what? It makes sense that he had to basically automate a lot of the aspects of his channel, because realistically speaking, YouTube is no longer really a place where you can just solo it on your own. You're gonna need to know people in the industry. You're gonna need to be able to, like, have connections with people. You gotta have some form of advertising. You gotta have an alternate form of monetization, because monetization is never guaranteed. So, like, it makes sense. It makes sense, especially in Matt's case, because the dude's gotta maintain 1 upload a week on, like, 4 different channels, as well as a marriage and a child. Like, dude, I don't know how he hasn't snapped yet. It's seriously impressive. And he got, you know what, he earned his FNAF cameo. That's all I'll say. But ultimately, I've just kind of been thinking about the whole thing as just sort of like a big wake-up call for a lot of YouTubers, or at least the bigger ones. Because, I mean, here's the thing, when you're a YouTuber like me, you can kind of just afford to, you know, screw around, throw whatever goes at the wall and see what sticks. You can basically have fun on this platform, but then there's a certain point after you hit, like, 50k, 80k, 100k, where you kind of just have to stop having fun, and YouTube basically just sort of becomes a job. Like, on some level, you still need to be able to have that passion, that drive for it, and I think that's the whole reason why these guys are stepping away. It's because they want to have that passion again that they've sort of had to lose because of all the, like, the paperwork that's been involved with it. Because, like, when you start getting away from the core of what makes your YouTube channel you, I think that's probably the first phase where it, like, starts to die out. And that's kind of the same thing that I've been thinking of, just sort of like, I'm not quitting, this isn't a video announcing my retirement. I plan on sticking it out with YouTube for pretty much as long as I can, and eventually moving on to somewhere else when YouTube is no longer viable. Because, you know what, beyond just being a YouTuber, I'm a content creator. I enjoy genuinely bringing entertainment to people. It's just something I like doing, and you know what, if there are people willing to stick around for it, I am willing to do it. As long as they're fine waiting. I really don't want to hire an editor just because I'd rather learn the software myself. I'd rather learn the techniques myself, because then that translates to, like, real-world positions and things like that. I have actually been applying for editorial positions. I've gotten close, unfortunately still haven't gotten hired for anything. But yeah, no, I recognize that I'm in an incredibly, I guess, I don't want to use this word, but I guess I should say it, like, privileged position. I say privileged position. I'm just living with my parents because I didn't want to pay for the college dorms. But yeah, no, I'm kind of just chilling for a bit. I'm letting my wealth, I guess, sort of accrue before I decide to actually move out and be independent, because it's not exactly going great out there for anyone. But at least with matters that concern my YouTube channel, this has pretty much been my dream since, like, since around the time that I started getting into video games, and around as long as I can remember. And that's kind of scary, because at a certain point in time, you realize it's also starting to become everyone else's dream. And this is kind of like a dark secret that not a lot of YouTubers are going to admit to, especially, like, Twitch streamers and stuff like that. There are only so many views that can go around, realistically speaking. There is a point where, like, you just can't accrue more viewers because there's only so many people on Earth. Like, a lot of businesses like to pretend like they can just infinitely grow, especially YouTube. I think they kind of rely on it. But like, yeah, no, there's only so many people who, like, there are legitimately so many views to go around. There are a lot of them. There's not an infinite amount of it, is the point here. So I actually don't think it's that bad for the whole YouTuber economy, for like a couple of big YouTubers to like take a step back, or basically they're not going to power game the system anymore. And I think that's good, because I think it encourages more YouTubers to like stop power gaming the system. Because frankly, like, I don't know about you, but I really hate the fact that like it seems that the only way to win nowadays is to power game the system, basically exploit the system, because it leads to really stupid stuff like bare bones reaction content, all that other dumb garbage. You know what? The jury's still out on whether or not Skibidi Toilet is actually good. I haven't watched it, but it is prime for making fun of things. And as for me, I'm kind of just been here. I've had a couple of projects that I wanted to start, but ever since another semester of college got started, and I'm now currently working in an actual, like, office. I'd say it's a 9-to-5 job, because they basically have me working like that, and that's basically my day-to-day schedule. Yeah, it's just sort of been that whole daily grind, and you know, it's not the worst deal in the world or anything like that. Obviously, I would like to work on my YouTube a bit more. I would like to do a job that lets me focus on my own creative fields and passions. Honestly, I think this video was going to be a lot of different things. Originally, I had an entire script planned around talking about music artists. For anyone who doesn't know what happened with Eleps, the long and short of it is that the dude downloaded Cheese Pizza on his friend's phone and admitted this in his apology video. So I don't feel too bad about just being a little bit more out in the open about that. You can watch the video or the expose document yourself if you want more information on that. Obviously, please don't use me as your primary source. And also, if you don't know what I mean by Cheese Pizza, then you are too young for this channel, probably. Actually, the whole situation in general was what honestly got me thinking about a lot of different things involving like artists, and I guess what to do in those situations where like people get exposed for being creeps. Originally, this video was going to be a sort of deep dive into that, and if you guys are interested in hearing me talking about that more, I'd be 100% down to do another video like this where I can, I mean, obviously a bit more well-researched, a bit less off the cuff. I would like to get back to Broken Cycles. Speaking of which, as for current plans, I currently have 3 videos in the works right now. 2 of them are interviews with fairly popular PA creators. One of them is actually something completely unrelated, maybe related to the footage that you're seeing on screen, just because, you know, we like to have fun here. Honestly, there are a whole bunch of other topics besides Project Arrhythmia that I'd like to do content on, and that I probably will do content on. Not Geometry Dash related. I still only own the mobile version of the game, and I am never going to get and play the desktop version. I'm just not good at the game. And honestly, you know what? It's fun to just be able to experiment like this. It's fun to be able to just go out and do random other side projects, and like, I mean, at some points I am going to probably have to just power game the system. And by that I mean just sort of like promoting the video. I obviously want people watching my stuff. There's sort of a balance that you have to maintain with, I want people watching my stuff, but also I don't want to ruin the artistic integrity of the thing that I made. But yeah, no, I'm not planning on going anywhere anytime soon. I want to keep making content. I want to keep making... My standards for what counts as good quality content are constantly on the rise, because I consider this channel both as, like, a place for me to be able to post content for fun, as well as my, I guess, quote-unquote resume for any editing positions that I want to get in the future. And yeah, that's pretty much the long and short of it. Also animations too, because the animations are really fun. By the way, recently, Love Letters has actually hit the front page of the Steam Workshop. Well, not anymore, but it was. And honestly, thank you guys so much for the support. Me and Keegan were really powering through the last few weeks of production, and it was a massive strain on both them and me. So I'm glad for all the support. I'm sure a lot of you are probably expecting the next video to be behind the scenes on Love Letters. Literally the only new information we have to say about that is we're not making a sequel to it. That's it. We're not doing it again. I guess to just sort of wrap up this video, wrap up this little update video, the Broken Cycles update that y'all have been waiting on, the content production. First off, I got two pretty cool new pieces of news that I think Broken Cycles fans might be a fan of. All 2 of them who've survived the everlasting winter, the long night, as it were. So first off, I plan on restarting production on Broken Cycles Part 3. And the reason for this is that the song was made by Eleps, what was originally Danger by Eleps, aka Broken Cycles Part 3, not only because of all of that stuff that happened, but also because I ran out of ideas pretty quickly, and it really did just feel like every time I opened that level I was going through the motions. I very much could not keep up with the, I guess, sort of ideas that I had involving it, and it was getting very sickening to just, like, keep constantly working on it, I guess. So I was just starting to realize that, like, I only really like 30 seconds out of the entirety of Danger. And the only reason I even picked Danger to begin with is just because I needed a substitute for Drop the Bomb. A song which also we can't use, maybe. Oh yeah, because Far Too Loud came back to the internet a little bit, and so the 6-month rule's been invalidated. But yeah, no, Broken Cycles isn't canceled. Still gonna be working on that. Still gonna be working on the animation for it. But I will post everything that I have made up until then. That is both Drop the Bomb, all of the footage related to Drop the Bomb, and all of the footage related to Danger. Both versions of this level are going to be dropping on my YouTube channel. One last piece of Broken Cycles news that I thought a lot of people would like to hear. I was having some thoughts about the entirety of my existence, both on YouTube and my place as sort of a creator, a content creator. I don't know, I guess I just really want to be able to get my thoughts out here about how I've been feeling about Broken Cycles, how I've been feeling about, I guess, sort of the reduction of my activity on YouTube. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna end off with this little paragraph that I wrote. Hopefully I'll be seeing you soon. It hit me kind of recently that I'm gonna be turning 20 in a month and a half. That kind of info scares me a bit because, geez, there's no way I've been here for 2 decades already. I only turned 17 like a couple of weeks ago, and for whatever reason, I only remember about 1 out of every 7 days I've lived on this planet for. Maybe that's just what school does to you, or maybe my ADHD is making my life literally fly past me. Either way, it's made me confront the fact that there's only so many more things I can change about Broken Cycles before I decide that I'm just done with it. So many ways I can stall production or procrastinate on the animation. My biggest fear is that Broken Cycles just becomes the yandere simulator of PA, or maybe just my life in general. So I've decided that I am going to make a full commitment to getting this story done. Specifically, I'm going to finish all of the writing involved with Broken Cycles. And when I say that I'm going to finish all the writing, I mean all of the dialogue and the more finer points of the story. Broken Cycles was a story written by a teenager for teenagers, and I know for a fact that any other major rewrites done after the fact are likely going to go in an entirely different direction. BC is, in my opinion, a story worth telling, but the writers are only going to be here for so much longer. I'm going to finish the story with the time I've got left, and after that I can get some real work done on animating. Everything else I've worked on is still obviously subject to change, but BC, honestly, is my first time ever writing a story, and I want to keep it that way. I might end up releasing my lore doc about it at some point if I ever ended up giving up, not that I plan to, even though I really do feel bad for how long it's taken. Or maybe just even release bits and pieces of it to drum up hype. One day, this private little story of mine I've told myself during my worst days to cheer me up won't be so private anymore. Everyone else is going to be able to enjoy it and get through their worst days the same way that I did. Broken Cycles has, for the longest time, been the little piece of entertainment that's lived in my head that I just want to be able to share with the world. And I hope you guys get as much enjoyment out of it as I have for pretty much the last half a decade. Thanks for watching.